DVD's recording. Stand by for one.
March is also Wellness Awareness Month, Collegiate Wellness Awareness Month. Get your coffee. We'll be right back.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome to GHC Coffee Break. I'm very excited about the show today. Joining me is Clifton from Student Life and Emily from our Georgia Highlands Human Resources, and we're talking about wellness. I've been really excited about this show. Recently, I found out I was pre-diabetic for a long time. Managed it pretty well. Turned a corner for some reason lately. And I'm having to go on medicines, but I hope to do better and get off as much as possible. But wellness is really important to me. I probably don't practice what I preach as much as I should, but I've been doing a lot of research and looking at wellness in the workplace. And I noticed at Georgia Highlands, we now have a committee. So Emily, I'm going to kind of let you and Clifton take over. We're going to talk about the wellness committee at Georgia Highlands.
Okay. We have met and been brainstorming about ways that we can engage the employees in wellness, which encompasses physical fitness as well as stress reduction and even financial stability. And Dr. Green is very pro, working out and engaging all the employees, and the upper management has sought to lead by example. And
like our VP of Finance Administration, he's been working out rigorously probably the past year, and he's got some substantial weight loss for it. And then like Don, he's very into working out. He's working out in the Student Center almost every day. And then even our VP of HR, she's advocating highly for any kind of employment wellness. So Georgia Highlands is really doing a lot, and we're one of the few institutions in USG who's actually going out and really trying to vamp up employee wellness.
I know y'all just had, I know I was involved in it, the walk challenge.
That we won.
Yes,
Yay.
actually Georgia Highlands won. I forget it was a very small margin, but we pulled it off. My walking was I think I did 30 minutes total. I would do, some here and some there, so I would kind of just add it together. Sometimes it was difficult, sometimes not, because of the neuropathy and different issues with my feet. But, when we talk about wellness, like you said, it's not just the physical wellness. And that walk challenge was good. It kept me a little bit more, I think, with it being a college-wide invitation, more accountable, because I was not just accountable to myself of trying to be well and walking, but to other people. And one of the things that I was reading, and I'm actually going to, so I say it right, before what may seem like a costly employee benefit scares you off, consider savings. For many companies, the wellness programs actually save money in the long run. In fact, in 2008 survey of 628 employers groups conducted by Buck Consultants, 74% of the U.S. companies cited reducing healthcare costs as their number one motivator. So they found that really, if for companies, that promoted wellness within the agency or the company, that their employees actually use less health benefits. We're having to go to the doctor less. We're having to go take days off less because they had this this idea of being well in the corporation or agency or educational side. So this is something that it sounds like USG, the University System of Georgia, has really decided to take on.
Yes, and but it is for the benefit of the employee also. I mean, it's not just about saving money.
Oh no,
It's truly it's about having better employees, and if you're healthier and mentally healthier and happier, then I think you're more productive. And that walk challenge, we did a survey afterwards, and people did like the accountability. They liked being part of a group. It brought them a sense of community and being part of something bigger. And it also, they liked the competition.
yeah,
And I think one of the biggest challenges for an employer to find a way to encourage people to be healthier is finding the time.
yeah.
I mean, we all sit at our desk, we eat at our desk, we sit in our cars, and it's where are you going to find that time to get out and walk or to go to the gym, but if it's one step at a time, like you said, if it was just cumulative, but that's still a positive, and that's a plus for you, and you were part of the challenge.
Yeah,
So,
and it made me feel good. I mean, like I said, it wasn't as much as I would have liked to, and there is a competitive side of me, and so I was like, I really stink at this. This is not working. But I was encouraged because I could see the numbers. Jenny Soller was very good about letting us know kind of where we stood, and kept giving us information. I know that, and I guess this came from the USG, and us. We got like little things along the way to kind of prompt us
rewards.
to, little rewards. And one of the things I was reading too is about our brain capacity of being intense, focused for a long period of time, like 90 minutes. The recommendation is after about 90 minutes of working, you need to take a break, even if it's just getting up and stretching, or sitting at your desk and turning out the lights for just a short period of time. Instead of taking maybe an hour long break, take smaller breaks throughout the day.
right.
Now, keeping in mind that the lunch break is important, of course. But
yes.
a lot of us, and a lot of people don't really take their lunch. They go and they come, but you really don't see them sitting down and taking a lunch break.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that we need to encourage. And I know there's been a lot of research about even how desk. You see now that some people say, oh, you need to stand up and do. I don't know how I feel about that yet, but there's different things, and I think it is partly individualized of what works for you. Might not work, what I do may not work for you, and what you do may not work for me.
But I think it's important to keep, because it was a group challenge, if I determine I'm going to go to the gym, or like Jenny has determined to be healthier, and she's eating healthier, and she's walking, but at the end of the day, where are you going to go, and who are you going to go with?
Yeah.
To have somebody else to partner with. And then I thought, well, but then if something happens to one of you, then you don't make it, and eventually that kind of falls apart. So maybe it's better to have at least 3. If you could find 3 people that could commit to doing something together in an effort to become healthier. And Dr. Green, I know he encourages anybody to call him, and he's willing to personally train. Do you know?
I know I think he gave Jeff Davis his workout plan.
And Tim
that's
Floyd?
what Jeff Davis, and Floyd. I know one thing Dr. Green was able to help push, and the cabinet kind of got behind it too, is that in Cartersville, our student center, faculty and staff now can bring a guest for free. So it kind of harps on what you talked about, having someone,
That
you
partnering.
know, partner with you. So instead of just now, and this is for all faculty and staff at all campuses, you can bring like your spouse, brother, son, or whatever,
Friend.
come help and work out with you. And, you know, they don't have to pay anything. They just sign a waiver. And I think that has really encouraged, because I've seen the student center participation go up a good bit between faculty and staff from that. So I think that's helped a lot.
And I think you're right, that partnering up, and I like the way that you were able to go online and actually track, you know, put your information in, so that you saw yourself what you were doing. I didn't never make some of the awards. There was different things about count. I forget what that whole thing was. It was kind of cool, but there was a different kind of rewards. Oh, if you get so many miles in, you know, you got a part of the state or county or something. I really can't remember the whole map thing, but it was cool. I think stuff like that, for me, motivate, to be able to kind of see progress even. And I know that there's a lot of apps out there now. Apps are not quite as good as friends, though.
No.
And I think that the idea of remembering that to take that break, walk over and talk to Clifton and say, hey, you know, have that the other part of it is the emotional, I think, the emotional exercise, the support exercises, to chat with your neighbor for a minute. I'm not saying, you know, stay there 10, 15 minutes and interrupt both of y'all's work schedule, but to get up and socialize, because that's a motivator. I remember there was a time that, you know, we sent out emails just to say a funny joke, something to just say, hey, I'm over here, you know, if you need me. It was encouraged to really reach out to our community and say, hey, you know, I know that you look like you were having a bad day. Here's something to cheer you up. And those little things to me are also important, that interconnectedness, because it makes me feel like this is home. I was a student here in the 80s and graduated, and I can remember walking in the doors at Georgia Highlands and thinking, because even as a student, I mean, I was involved in student activities. I was involved with 6 Mile Post, various, the Human Services Club, SGA. We had SGA then, the Student Government Association. So it was that family connection that made me feel better about being a part of something, like you said, bigger, Georgia Highlands College. So when I came back as a faculty, it's like, oh, I'm home. This is family.
Well, and I think working out as a group, or being part of a group, and including the students, because you know, we're an example for the students are going to be the employees of the future. And do we want to perpetuate that sitting at your desk, not, you know, just it's kind of isolationist, which is not good health-wise for your mind or your body. So, and we are working on release time. Dr. Green has agreed that we can have release time, and we're working on a more formal form for you to be able to be released and count 10 or 20 minutes of your day still as work time, but you'll get to go to the gym or walk or whatever.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and maybe, you know, like 2 or 3 people in the same department or even different departments can get together and go to the same place. So, and being in student life, do the students take advantage of the facilities at the college?
Yeah, we have, at least in the Cartersville Student Center, you know, you have your you know, same set of students that use it every day frequently. But, you know, I also see a lot of students just every once in a while in there, and I'm not in there the whole time it's open, because we're open till like 8:30 at night. But there's the same group of guys that go in there at the same time every day. They'll play basketball. You have your same group of people who go and work out. So it gets used a lot.
And I think that's very positive that we do have those kind of facilities on campus.
Yep.
I've used the one at Floyd before, and I really enjoy it. And as a faculty, it's nice that, and I like to talk to students on an interpersonal level and other people. So, you know, I think that that's really important. Well, we'll be back in a few minutes, so get your coffee and join us on GHC Coffee Break.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
All right, welcome back to GHC Coffee Break. I'm really excited today. One of the things, wellness has become a big issue for me, like I said, with being diagnosed with diabetes. I had the pre-diabetes for a while, and now it's like, oops, turned that corner. So, you know, how can I be well is really important to me. I've been trying to do reading and research. But I want to ask you guys, how did you get involved in the committee, and how did even the committee start at Georgia Highlands to this wellness program?
I think it started about 2 or 3 years ago. I think the leadership just decided to take a better, advocate more employee wellness. So they kind of took people from athletics, student life, intramurals, PE instructors, people who know a lot about wellness and are involved in it, and just kind of invited them to be on the committee. And I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago, and it's become a long way. And like I said, we're one of the few institutions in USG that do it.
And Dr. Green is very much an advocate for health, and then Jenny, the vice president of HR, and asked me to be the tobacco cessation facilitator, and we do offer the program Fresh Start for any employees that want to quit. It's a free class. It involves committing time though to it, as well as the desire to quit. But and we send out information about that every so often for anybody that does want to quit. And again, I think that works better if you could find somebody else to partner with and say, let's go, because you've got that accountability to come in and say, okay, we're going to take this class and try to quit. And I've learned from being the facilitator that it is frequently up to 9 times that somebody tries to quit before they quit. 9 times or more.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a tough go, but of course that's a huge health issue. So.
Oh yeah, my family history is not very good, and my part of it is my father and mom did smoke. My dad did develop lung cancer. Had to have 1 lung removed, and that, of course he quit finally. A little bit too late, Dad. But it did kind of force my mom to quit. I think it really was sort of a reality check. I think people, and again, looking at the generation that they grew up in, my mom is 75 and actually 76, and she smoked for a good 40, 50 years, probably 40 years, and she, it was also a social thing,
Right.
And so I think but what people are replacing cigarettes with and socializing has become food, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. Is that going to dinner, I can remember my parents would smoke back then you could smoke in the restaurant.
Right.
So, they would have dinner, and then it was dinner and a cigarette. I mean, it was almost inevitable. But that was a time that it was social. So, and I think portions were smaller. But, it's just amazing that how difficult you would think. It's very difficult to quit smoking. I picked it up once or twice just to, because I was with friends, but I never was a smoker. My parents threatened me to that, but and most of the time I obeyed, except for as a rebellious teenager. But I never got the habit. So, you know, it was really hard for me to understand, well, Mom, why can't you just quit?
You're right.
And you're right. I think it was several times, you know, and she finally did do it. But health-wise, it was probably real late. So I'm glad that we were offering that kind of program at Georgia Highlands for is it for faculty and staff and students, or just faculty and staff?
Faculty and staff that I know of, but I don't know why we would not offer it to the students. I would, and I think we've sent information out to them.
Yeah, I think when we originally started the tobacco cessation, I think maybe about a year ago, Terry Kavanagh and I went and took the class and everything. And I think at that time the plan was we have one for faculty, staff, and do a separate one for students. I think that was the original plan. So I'm sure that's still on the table. It's just logistics, trying to get it worked out.
Right. How many students and faculty and staff do you think are still smokers? I mean, because I know that number nationwide has reduced. Is it that big of a problem still?
I think it's hard to tell because now you can't smoke on campus at
Right.
all. Because it used to be when you could smoke on campus, or at least in the car, you knew who was.
Oh, you can't even do it in the
smoker,
car now.
Right.
You can't do it in your car now.
Okay, I
and
guess
now,
I didn't realize that either.
And you can't
I don't
vape.
smoke, so it's okay.
You can't vape. There's no e-cigarette. There's no alcohol at all on the campuses.
I knew that.
So it's hard. It's hard to gauge how many do it now. But I'm sure there's a good number.
Yeah, I didn't know if there'd been a survey or anything. That's kind of curious.
And there's a lot of information though out there about even the e-cigarettes and vaping and the health dangers or risks from that. And of course you see more students picking that up.
Yeah, well, they think.
Well, I'm not smoking.
It's safer.
Yeah, they do. The companies behind us do a good job of pushing this out and saying,
I actually heard a
this
commercial.
is safer. Yeah, this is safer. I remember even the cigar companies, they'll say smoking a cigar is not nearly as bad as smoking a cigarette. And you hear that a lot from the vapors. So, and now, vape shops are popping up all over
Oh,
the
no, I
place.
heard an advertisement coming in today, actually, about it. And I was like, oh, wow. He said, for you vapors. And I'm like, that just sounds so funny. But yeah, so it is. But, they took cigarette, and I don't want to just talk about cigarettes, but they took the cigarette commercials off years ago. The alcohol commercials are still there, but the cigarette commercials, they took off, oh gosh, when I was a kid.
And
What other kind of things you think do you see coming forward for GHC with the wellness issue?
well, we want to do more challenges like we
Okay.
did because that went very well, and we think that's a catalyst for getting employees engaged.
I think we'll also do more. Like the challenges are good because they're competing against other colleges. I think we'll do more stuff too now, localized within the college.
Oh, cool.
And I know one thing Dr. Green would like to see would be competition among the campuses.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think could be fun.
Sure. Everybody likes a little healthy competition. One of the things that, and you've talked a lot about the preventative care, encouraging exercise. I like the idea of the what did you call the cigarette one again?
Cessation, it's Fresh Start.
Fresh Start. Because that's emphasis on the education part of it, educating people about what.
In fact, what attracted me to it, because I'm like, my sister smokes, and it's really hard to get people that don't want to quit to, even think about it. But the Fresh Start program emphasizes that people already know they need to quit, the ones that do want to quit, and they want to know how to quit. And it's also very community oriented. What works for you may not work for somebody else, but you find people that get ideas from each other.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, and it sounds like that's the other piece of it, the incentives, giving incentives to do it. It's just, we need motivation, we need that support, we need rewards. I mean, that's just human. I think that's human nature. And I think that one of the things I was looking at is talking about, it's important to take your coffee breaks.
Yes.
You know, whatever that, you know, maybe you drink tea, or decaffeinated coffee. It's still, but to take those breaks, to be mindful of what you can do in a very limited time, but just getting up, walking around for a minute, instead of just sitting. And I know I do it at home too, because I teach online, and it's like, you know, I'm at that computer, and sometimes I look up, oh my God, 2 hours have passed, and my shoulders are fatigued, my hands are fatigued, my mind is fatigued, and to stop and go over and for when I'm at home, it's pet my dogs because my husband works late too, but you know, finding that time to just say, look, take a break. Because I think it's not only physically healthy, but it's mentally healthy.
Yes.
And I think we've talked a lot about physical health, but the mental health is just as important. And the socialization, I'm a very social person. Obviously, I love to talk, unfortunately, sometimes. But I'm also a very passionate, and I'm a touch person. I like to hug and to put good vibes, good touch therapy to people. And I think we've gotten away from that, and I think that that's hurt some of our mental wellness. You know, is to, you know, just say, hey, Emily, you know, it's good to see you. I haven't seen you. You know, what are you doing? And just chatting for 5 minutes and moving on and going back to your desk and then going back to work.
Right.
And I like the idea that it's going to be, hopefully, it'll be okay to do that.
Right, and instead of having that attitude that, well, I don't have time to stop and talk to somebody, then if you take that time, then you can come back refreshed. Or just that camaraderie, though, knowing that there's somebody else that's living life, you know. I mean, life is more than just that desk and that computer and that class. So.
And I think that's probably the beauty. I'm not a big Facebooker, but I do like to Facebook things about my kids, because I don't necessarily have time I don't go around to everybody that's my friend at work and say, oh, Jacob did this, but I could post it on my Facebook, and I get neat little either likes or comments. And that has become one of our socializations. That is part of our social life. I don't want to be absorbed in it. I'd rather have that personal contact. But it is part of our personal life, and I think we have to acknowledge the importance that we have attributed to it. So,
and virtual working out doesn't really help.
No.
So we need that, you know, real life.
What is that game? They have it. It's one of the Wii's. You know, they got the Wii exercise, the Wii dance. Well, they're doing a dance or something over on another campus. We need to have dance over here.
But in student life, in March, we are having a Just Dance-Off competition, which is, it's the Wii, and it's one of the dance games, and you're just dancing, which, I mean, you know, it's...
You gonna do it here? In Rome?
Cartersville.
See, boo! We need some in Rome. Okay, we're out of time. Get your coffee. We'll be right back with GHC Coffee Break.
Seven 7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
Welcome back to GHC Coffee Break. Clifton, Emily, I really do appreciate you guys coming today and talking about wellness. I think it's something that everybody needs to stand up and take take the challenge,
Yes, yes.
and say, hey, I'm going to do this, not just to save money, like you said, and I didn't mean to imply that, but that we need that ourselves to become more healthy. So I do appreciate the information you gave about what GHC does in wellness, and we're going to keep up that challenge. And now I'm like, okay, we got to do some more stuff over in the Rome campus. Cartersville's beating us out on these activities. So until next time, get your coffee. We'll see you on GHC Coffee Break.